Like many golfers, a long-kept dream has been to play golf in the British Isles, to face the magnificent contours of land, sand, ocean, and sea. But a true adventurer craves not only a taste of the links, but also the heritage, hospitality, and uniqueness of the isle on which these courses sit. Northern Ireland is a land within a land. While it's not Oz, once you cross the border, subtle differences become evident. Flags are everywhere to be found throughout Ireland. And here, they tell you that these folk bear allegiance to the crown and currency apart from the rest of Europe. But all differences are put aside for visitors who are welcomed with openness and warmth. The first course visited was the Hourglass Golf Club. The first impression was, wow, what a stunning setting. Before guarding par, this was a castle fortress guarding the eastern coastline. There is no easing into this course. Even though the first tee means Lamb's Bay, the hole is more the wolf, challenging you to play down the short side of the fairway. But with even a perfectly placed shot, you won't see the green until you reach the summit. But the reward is a view that can take your breath away.
If you suffer from vertigo, the height can be quite distracting, but absolutely breathtaking at the same time. Most of the links courses in Ireland, as you know, you won't see the sea, but you'll know it's there. You can hear it, etc. But in every, on every tee box and every green, every fairway, the unique part of this golf course is the fact that you can see the sea from each fairway and green and big tee box. I don't believe that you'll see any scenery as beautiful anywhere in Ireland, or the world for that matter, when it comes to playing golf. Maybe that's personal, but that's the way it is.
There are stretches of holes that are brutal, but also stretches that invite good scoring. And if you're sly as a fox in plotting out the lines of your play, you just might gobble up a few birdies.
Yeah, baby!
This is one course you won't want to pass up when in North Ireland. Continuing up the coast, our next stop was Portstewart, and a late afternoon round that heavy rains forced a change in plans. And while tempted to do a little impromptu practice, I thought better of it, and we nestled in at the time-honored Bushmills Inn. Besides the name, the town is dominated by the renowned Bushmills distillery. And what better way to spend a damp, chilly afternoon than touring the home of Irish whiskey? I'm not sure what the drinking age is in Northern Ireland, but the tour ended in a fine way for a sampling of their fine products. Cheers.
When traveling, get your information thanks to the Strackline Green Reading Guide on thousands of golf courses around the world. Never misread another putt.
Mist surrounded our arrival at Portstewart, but neither mist nor fog can hide this overpowering display of massive dunes that made golfers at a distance look like a column of ants. Instead of raging sea, here you're confronted by tempestuous waves of fescue nearly waist high. There is shelter from it, but not for a suspect game. With so many possible lines of play, first time out, a caddy might be a necessity if scoring is at the top of your list. But as if to compensate for this jigsaw puzzle on a massive scale, bunkers are fewer in number and less severe than what you might find elsewhere. As with the finicky bounces of a golf ball, things have a way of evening out, making it a fair test of golf. Continuing our trek through the north, as we made the turn toward the west, the terrain transported me into a different world. There were no dwarves, orcs, or hobbits, but with a backdrop suggesting something ancient, I finally met up with old Tom Morris. Well, not quite, but his stature in the history of golf, or maybe in this case, statue, gazes over the fields of Rossapena, as remote a location as you might find in Ireland, but with a powerful attraction, pure, undistracted golf, both old and new.
Having the dream of Lord Leitrim in the early 1890s, and the golf resort actually opened, the hotel and golf course, in May 1893, leaves Rosapenna as being the world's oldest golf resort. It's nice to know that Rosapenna was really the world's original golf resort. Originally, the first course was laid out by Tom Morris, who was brought over to Ireland by Lord Leitrim, a nearby landlord who wanted to build a 9-hole course on his own private estate. And Tom Morris came over and he looked at the ground and laid out a 9-hole course and said to Lord Leitrim, "This is where you want to build your course, this is real links land." From there they decided to build a course, and in 1893 the course and hotel opened, and Lord Leitrim owned it up until the 1930s. Harry Varden and James Braid were here in the 1900s for numerous challenge matches, and they did a little work to it, and also Harry Colt came in 1911 and changed the routine and lengthened the golf course.
At Rosapenna, you can totally immerse yourself in the game. A driving range, a 9-hole Coast Guard 9 that includes some of the old Tom Morris holes, the old Tom Morris course itself ranked in the top 30 of Irish courses, the Sandy Hills Links ranked as the 11th best. 2 tiny villages flank the resort, but you need not leave the property to envelop yourself in charm and luxury. It exudes a hominess and gentility that warms you from the rigors of the climate, and I can attest to the quality of the cuisine. One other note, although located far north, it is not part of Northern Ireland. The planned route set the Mullet Golf Club at Carn as the last golf destination. The Atlantic side of Ireland showcases towering cliffs, so it's no surprise that amazing courses dazzle the senses and make the list of the most coveted golf destinations in the world. Mullet is included among them. Winding up, down, and through the gigantic dunes, the course breathes a wild naturalness into you. It might just be a presumption, but compared to the other courses that I had faced, the fairways of Mullet were more forgiving, and the greens more receptive. But in no way does that make it an easy course. It did allow me, however, to breathe a little easier. Walking the towns of Northern Ireland, it was hard not to be nostalgic about my youth. Growing up at a time when there were still small drug and hardware stores, 5 and dimes rather than super Targets and Walmarts, barber shops and butcher shops. It left me wondering if the Irish were just catching up to us, or maybe the colorful flags and flowers meant that we've lost something in translation.